Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. In today's video, we're going to be doing a ton of book stuff, and we're starting off very strong because I'm actually in the parking lot of one of my local libraries. I'm really lucky to have two in my area. I absolutely love using Libby to read on my Kindle or just using it to get audiobooks, but going to the local library and actually getting physical books is something that I want to do a lot more of. And I talked about this a little bit in my fall TBR video, but especially with like seasonal books or new authors or books that I don't know if I'm gonna like totally love. And also because the books from the library are free, I can just always go out and buy them after I read them if I really enjoy them. Plus, like I said, I already love Libby, but doing holds on Libby, especially for more popular books, you can be waiting a hot minute to actually get those books, but at the library, there's only like a few people who actually request them physically, so you get them faster too, which is amazing. And it's also just amazing to support your local libraries, and that's what I want to start doing more of, so that's why we're here. I also have a few books that I put on hold recently that are ready to pick up, so we're gonna pick those up and do a little bit of browsing and just go from there. I am back from the library and I have all of my books that I got in here, and I'm gonna give you guys a little haul. I was gonna go to Barnes, but it's a little far from where I live and from the library, and I think we're gonna go to that area sometime this weekend. And there's one book that I wanted to get in particular, but I don't think I'm gonna read it right now anyway, so I'm not really in a rush. But if we do end up going near Barnes this weekend, I'll probably get it and put it in this video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into my library haul. I ended up getting 4 books, and I believe 3 out of 4 of these are on my fall TBR. The first one is In the Company of Witches by Orly Wallace. This tiny little mass market paperback is so stinking cute. This is like a cozy witchy fantasy set in a small town. I really don't know what to expect with this because I haven't really read anything from this author or anything quite like this, so I'm excited to try it out. And then I Was Feeling Epic, which is an oral history of the Vampire Diaries, and this is by Samantha Highfill. This is basically like a bunch of behind the scenes and interviews of people who were on the show or worked on the show, and more of a deep dive overall into the show. It says a definitive and deliciously nostalgic look into the creation and legacy of the hit TV show The Vampire Diaries, as told by its cast, crew, and creators. So I'm stoked for this. Luke and I are actually watching The Vampire Diaries right now. I think this might be my 4th or 5th time rewatching it. I honestly can't remember because I did rewatch it quite a bit in my teens, but this is Luke's first time watching it ever, so I figured since we're watching it right now, it would be a great time to pick this up. And this did like just come out. I think it came out on September 9th, so I'm absolutely stoked to read this, and I was really glad it was there to pick up. And then I also got The Lost Witch. This is by Paige Crutcher. This is a book I got that wasn't on my fall TBR, and I've never heard about this, but I read the back and it honestly just sounded really interesting. It says a witch discovers that finding your way home is sometimes the most perilous journey of all. And this witch is from the year 1922, but she ends up in 2022, and she basically is just trying to go home. She doesn't really understand why she time traveled or how, so I thought this would be another fun and witchy book to add to my TBR for the fall. I'm really excited. It's also only 299 pages, so I feel like this would be a fun and quick one. And the last book I got was my other hold. This is Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. This is a cute like fall YA romance. On the back it says, memories of the best summer I ever had with the sweet boy from Bramble Falls wrap around me like a blanket, and as I catch up with Sloane outside, the promise of a new season filling the air, I can't help but wonder who Cooper Barnett is now and what spending a fall with him would be like. The female main character from this book is from Manhattan, and she ends up moving to a small town, and in that small town they're doing like a fall festival, and she ends up running into her guy that she spent some time with in the past, and she just can't seem to escape him. Like, she just keeps running into him, and I don't know, this just sounded really cute, fall-ish and fun, and like the cover is so fall, so I'm really excited about this one and just all of these in general. I'm really stoked about these. Hopefully I can finish them all before I have to return them. I have 2 weeks to read I Was Feeling Epic and Falling Like Leaves because they're newer releases, but The Lost Witch and In the Company of Witches I have a whole month to read, so I think I'll be able to get through all 4 of these, and who knows, maybe we'll end up reading one of these in this video. Speaking of a book that I'm actually going to be reading in this video, or I guess finishing in this video, I actually started this book in my realistic reading week in my life, and one that is The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. I also have it on my Kindle, so I've kind of been just going back and forth, but honestly, I think I prefer reading this book on my Kindle more than the physical book because it's just kind of uncomfortable to read. Like, it's not very floppy, and I honestly think I'm just in more of an e-reader mood right now anyways, so I'm probably going to be reading the rest of it on my Kindle in this video. This is the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy though. I read the first one last fall and I really enjoyed it. I've just been kind of putting off the rest of the series because I've been focusing on other series to finish, but now it is the Prison Healer series time to shine, and I'm definitely going to be reading more of this tonight, but it's a Wednesday. And by now we all know what that means. That means there is a new episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty tonight. It's episode 10. I'm so absolutely stoked. I'm a little nervous because episode 9 was kind of unsatisfying for me. It just wasn't my favorite. There wasn't really a lot going on. So I am crossing my fingers I like episode 10 just a little bit more. Luke is currently making dinner right now, so I'm gonna wait until he's done with that, and then I'm gonna sit down with my dinner and we're gonna watch a show. I ended up getting into some cozy clothes and dinner is ready. We're having tempura chicken, broccoli, and rice tonight, and it is time to watch episode 10 of The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Hey, Brett, do you mind taking your shoes off, actually?
What
Here. Hey, don't, come on, don't be like that.
Why are they all so mad at Conrad? I don't understand this logic.
Team. Like
Hey, there's already too much of Jeremiah this episode, just like last episode. I can't. I love Conrad and Laurel's relationship. It's so precious. My yearning king, oh my god, I can't. The letters.
Firstly, I don't even know if I should be writing you.
Thank you. Oh, my king pie check. Sweet treat of the day. How are you taking Jer's side?
I quit.
King. Jeremiah being a good cook is kind of shocking to me. I'm still seeing way too much of Jeremiah this episode. Like, what is going on? Why is everybody so nice to him but so mean to Conrad? Not the one by Taylor Swift. Not Sign of the Times. I definitely liked episode 10 a lot more than I liked episode 9. I just feel like there was a lot more happening. And FYI, I am now going to talk about spoilers for the episode. I feel like overall I'm seeing too much of Jeremiah on my screen. And I'm glad that like him and Conrad are like all brotherly and stuff like that now, but like I don't really care that much. Also now Belly finally is getting Conrad's letter and he's going to visit her in Paris. I'm so excited. I'm so interested to see what happens, especially because she's with Benito now, and I don't know. I know that she's like not dating him seriously, but it also kind of feels like that's just like Belly's shtick. Like she's always with someone no matter who it is, and I feel like she doesn't truly know who she is. It seemed like she was trying to set some boundaries with him, even though he is like head over heels with her, but I hope she continues to do that. I saw this on TikTok, but it was pretty funny whenever Conrad has been writing her for a while, and then she finally writes back with a postcard and is just like, keep writing. What, girl? What do you mean keep writing? It also seems like Belly's mom and dad are like kind of getting back together, which makes me like really excited because they're hanging out and doing a lot more stuff together. I also overall don't understand why Steven isn't like so absolutely pressed with Jeremiah about cheating on Belly. And it might just be because he cheated previously with Taylor, so maybe that's why he's not that bothered. But at the same time, like I thought he'd be a lot more upset about that. And it just kind of feels like everybody is like so nice towards Jeremiah and like taking his side and being so sweet and kind to him and like very loving and forgiving, and then like everybody just is bullying the shit out of Conrad for no reason, which is very frustrating. And I guess I'm not going to talk too much about it today because the final episode would have been out by now whenever this video is going up, and I would have watched that episode. So I'm really excited to see what I think of the final episode. I have a feeling it's going to be very good and I am really excited for it, but I'm also just like kind of sad because I feel like I've been watching this show for a really long time and now it's just kind of coming to an end, which is always just really sad. I am posted up in my bedroom though. As you can see, I've got my cozy blanket, I'm in my reading chair. I also have a nice little cup of spearmint tea that I've been drinking every night for like a week or so. Have my little orange overhead like sun lamp on. I got candles lit. I got a YouTube ambiance going on. I'm really living my best life. And this is without a doubt the perfect setup for me to continue reading The Gilded Cage. I didn't really say what this series was about whenever I talked about it earlier, but the Prison Healer series is about a prison healer named Kiva. Whenever she was really young, she kind of got dragged into an unfortunate circumstance that happened with her family, so she ended up going to the prison whenever she was really young, and she grew up there, and now that she's older, her role in the prison is the prison healer. In the first book, she ends up going through these basically impossible trials, and you're going through that process with her. You're also going through like a little bit of a mystery that she has to solve, and also meeting a lot of great other characters along the way that result in an amazing found family that I just found so sweet and heartwarming. And now I'm on to the second book, still really enjoying it. I am 57% of the way through, and I'm really enjoying the second one in the series. It's very fast paced for me personally. I feel like there's always stuff going on. I don't know if I'm like in a perfect fantasy mood, but I'm really loving it. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading this tonight. one chapter left, and there's been so much crazy stuff that is happening, and I read the beginning of this chapter and was not expecting this at all, so let's go ahead and finish this together. See, I did not see this coming at all. What? Oh my gosh. See, this sucks because Kiva was like put so in the middle of an entire war that she didn't really fully understand what was going on. And she had so many feelings tied up in it, which also made it even harder for her to figure out what to do. And I honestly hate Kiva's sister because she's just a bitch. Like, this whole time I kind of had like a weird feeling about her, but I was not expecting her to like do stuff like this and play the part in Kiva's other relationships that she is now, because she's just making everything so incredibly messy and she's just like really annoying. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, what? This is so awful. I hate her so much. She's such a bitch. I hate her. That was, I don't even know. I need to download the next book like now. I was so invested in this book last night. I ended up reading it until like 2 a.m. and then I had to put it down, but I probably could have finished it if it wasn't that late. Like, it's to a point where I literally felt addicted and like I could not stop reading it. It was so good. And it also got to a point where I just could not stop thinking about it and I wanted to finish it so bad, but I still had an hour left and I wasn't going to stay up that late. And I probably was still going to feel the same way even if I finished it, because that's how I feel right now. Like, I just want to jump into the next book immediately. So to kind of like calm down and get out of that mindset before I went to bed, I ended up starting I Was Feeling Epic. This is one of the books I got from the library, and this is the oral history of the Vampire Diaries, and I read a little bit of it earlier today. I'm only on chapter 3, but so far this is also addicting just because I love the Vampire Diaries so much. I love the actors, and basically you're just kind of like going through the process of the show. So I just read about the casting process, and that was really interesting, knowing who else came in for certain roles and just all the behind the scenes of that. This is written just like Daisy Jones in The Six, but this is nonfiction and that's fiction, obviously. But that book felt so real, and it's just reminding me so much of it because it is just like a bunch of interviews pieced together to make a full story. And I'm enjoying this so much already so far, and I know I'm gonna read this so fast because it's so good and just so interesting to me. But I would love for a book like this to come out about Glee, One Tree Hill, The Office, Parks and Rec, like all those TV shows that I used to watch all the time whenever I was in my teens that are just so nostalgic to me. I'm only like 3 chapters in and I would absolutely love a book like this for all of my favorite series. It's a few days later than the last clip, and I did end up going to Barnes to pick out the book that I wanted to buy, and that book is Blood Marked by Tracy Deonn. This is the second book in the Legendborn series. I read the first one in June and I really enjoyed it, and I really want to try and finish the series this fall, so I wanted to have the second one ready to go on my TBR, so we can go ahead and add this one to the cart. Speaking of my TBR cart, as you can see, it's right here, and that is because we are going to be doing a little book unhaul, not only with my TBR cart but also with my bookshelves. I have never done a book unhaul, and I don't think there's like a ton of books that I want to get rid of, but there are some books that I've read that I just frankly didn't like at all, and I don't think I'll ever talk about again, so they just need to go, especially because I'm also not going to reread them. And there's also some books on here that I just don't think I'm ever going to read and kind of stress me out looking at them every time I do a TBR video, and reading's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. So I obviously don't want to feel stressed or pressured to read a book that I just don't want to read. The rest of my September TBR that I haven't read yet is just going to be off the TBR for right now because it's not even eligible for the book unhaul because I don't want to unhaul those books. I really want to read them. And then also Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've already read this book, but there's a little novella at the end called 12, and I really want to read it this month, so that's just also in this pile as well as all my library books because they're not like physically mine. So anyways, I am gonna go ahead and go through the cart, and when I find a book that I want to unhaul, we can chat about it. There's definitely nothing on this top shelf that I want to get rid of. These are all books that I really want to read. Verity by Colleen Hoover. I just don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I don't think it's my style of book. I don't really want to read any more of her books, so I think it's time for that one to go. Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I didn't love the Dreamland Billionaire series. I feel like I liked the first one whenever I read at the beginning of my reading journey. It's just like the more books that I read by her, I just don't really love them. Don't think that they're for me. It's not that they're like bad per se, I just don't think they're my favorite romance books, so I'd rather not start a new series by her. And at the end of the day, if I do want to read one of her books, they're all in Kindle Unlimited, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of it. Little Fires Everywhere. I bought this one a really long time ago. I think this actually might be the book that's been on my TBR for the longest. I I don't have any desire to read this. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it. Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. This is a book that my friend Olivia gave me a while ago because she was unhauling a bunch of books, so she asked if I wanted any of them. I don't know. I think this one might be a maybe. I'm gonna put it to the side for now and see how I feel about it once we get all the books that I'm unhauling together. Another one that my friend Olivia gave me is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. She wrote the Divine Rivals duology, and I've seen a few people read this online that have very similar taste to me, and I just feel like I don't see myself reading this, especially anytime soon. Maybe someday in the future, but as of right now, there's so many other series that I want to read and get to, and this just unfortunately is not one of them. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. Let's go ahead and look at the back. I honestly think that the only book back here that I want to get rid of is Go the Distance. This is by Jen Kalanita. I bought this book before I had even really started reading. I think I was just reading a book here and there like every other year. Hercules has always been one of my favorite Disney movies, if not my favorite Disney movie, and Luke also really loves Hercules too, so that's something we really bonded over whenever we first started dating, and I don't even know how many times we've seen that movie together. But this is a Disney Twisted Tale, and it's about Meg becoming a Greek god, and I know that it's YA, and I have a weird feeling that I'm just kind of growing out of the YA genre unless it's a YA fantasy or mystery. Some things are starting to feel a little too YA to me, but it also just like depends on the writing and the content of the story, because there are some YA books that I just absolutely love, and others I can't really read them anymore because I can't really relate to the characters or get into the story. And I would love to say that I really want to read this, but I don't think I've ever put this on a monthly TBR. I just have no desire, and I unfortunately don't think that's ever gonna change, so I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. Other than that, everything else on this cart I really do want to read, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and reorganize it and put my monthly TBR up here, my library books, and also try and fit the majority of my fall TBR higher up so that my eye kind of gravitates a little bit more towards those whenever I'm picking out my TBR for the month. Alright, I'm all finished with reorganizing my TBR cart. Obviously, it won't look like this whenever I film my TBR video, but this is kind of what I like my TBR cart to look like throughout my reading month after I film my TBR videos. On top, I like having my monthly TBR and other books on my priority TBR. This second shelf is mainly filled with all the books on my fall TBR, besides one book down here because it was on the back and I didn't go through the back until I had already finished this shelf, so I just put it down here. But I really do want to get to An Ember in the Ashes this fall, so if it was any book, I'm glad it's that one because I know I'm not going to forget about it. All these other books down here are actually ones that I want to get to this winter, or they're just not really seasonal, so they're not really on my radar as of right now. I really want to pay attention to reading seasonally, specifically in the fall, just because I love fall books. Fall is my favorite season, so I'm really going to take advantage of reading books that feel like fall while I can. And then this is what the back currently looks like. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books on the back of here, and then the rest of my Percy Jackson series. Same thing with these on the back as with the ones on the third shelf. They're either for the winter, so they're really just not on my radar as of right now, and a lot of them are just bigger books or hardbacks, so they just didn't really fit with the other books. So that is what my TBR card is looking like right now. I'm feeling good. I definitely want to read all of these books on here, so that is definitely a good feeling. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tackle my bookshelves, go through every single book, see if I would possibly reread it in the future, or I would want to give it to somebody else to read, or maybe my kids someday. If I love the book, I'm obviously gonna keep it. If I didn't like the book and rated it anything lower than a 3 stars, it's gonna get out of here. Starting off with this shelf up here, which is quite a doozy, honestly, because we do have some nonfiction, some classics, some random journals and stuff that I've put up here over the years. So right here in this section, we just have a lot of books that I just didn't really like. I am definitely getting rid of Maybe Once, Maybe Twice by Alison Rose Greenberg. I read this in a video a long time ago, and I loved the first half of this book. It felt like an Emily Henry book. It was so good, and then the second half was so unbelievably frustrating. So this one is without a doubt a goner. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was in the camp that didn't really enjoy this book that much, and honestly, I kind of want to reread it because I feel like whenever I first started reading, it was just a little too slow for my reading taste, but I feel like I might actually really enjoy this if I read it now. I think almost every other Taylor Jenkins Reid book I have absolutely loved and devoured, so I'm definitely going to keep this one for the sake of rereading it and giving it another chance. I think I'll just put this one up there for now. In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. This was just way too sad for me. I think that I was going in thinking this was gonna be more of a romance book, and there is romance in it, but I feel like she's more of like a literary fiction author, and it was a very quick read, but it was just so sad. I don't know, I didn't like hate it, but I also don't see myself ever rereading this, so I feel like I'm just gonna get rid of it. An Abundance of Catherines by John Green I've actually never read before. It's just up there because I don't think I will ever read it. I have this from childhood, but my full name actually is Catherine, so I feel like I should give this a read someday, so I think I might actually keep this one. The rest of this little stack up here are all Colleen Hoover books. We have It Starts With Us. I think that just because I don't think I'm ever gonna read a Colleen Hoover book again and I don't see myself rereading these, I'm just gonna get rid of these. November 9th and Regretting You. I actually haven't, oh, that could have been really bad, but thank God it's not. Like I was saying though, Regretting You and November 9th, I've actually never read, but I didn't want them to be on my TBR cart because I didn't see myself reading them, so I am just gonna go ahead and get rid of both of these. I did used to own It Ends With Us, but my mom gave it to one of her friends, and I've never gotten it back. So I feel like if I was gonna keep any Colleen Hoover book just for like the memes of her helping me get into reading, I would have kept that one, but because I don't have that one, I think I am gonna keep Ugly Love, just as like a nostalgic memory book, at least for now, because at the time I did indeed devour this book. I think this is one of the first books that made me absolutely sob uncontrollably, even though the plot of this one is a little bit sticky and interesting, but I think I am just gonna keep this one for the memes as of right now. The Ministry of Time by Callie Ann Bradley. I kind of hated this book, to be honest. The first half was amazing. The second half was just not amazing. I didn't really like it, but I also kind of want to have somebody else I know read it, and I love the cover, which sucks, because I did not like this book, like, at all. And the premise is just so interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna put this one to the side for now, but I did rate it under 3 stars. So everything else up here I am going to keep besides these 2 books because these are Luke's parents and I just don't see myself reading them anytime soon. Also, I feel like if I am going to read The Hobbit, I would rather just buy my own copy. So I am going to give those back to them. One book on this shelf that I want to get rid of is Looking for Alaska by John Green. I did not like this book at all, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that. So now that I'm looking at the rest of my shelves, I think this shelf was going to be our big boy and getting rid of things. I do see a few on here for right now that I want to get rid of though. I do want to get rid of Right on Cue by Fallon Ballard. I loved her Just My Type book. I thought it was so good, but this one was just kind of irritating and insufferable, and I rated it lower than 3 stars, so that's a goner. Same thing with Once More with Feeling by Alyssa Sussman. Even though the cover is absolutely stunning, I thought this would be something that I would absolutely adore and enjoy because it's about like 2 kids who did theater back in the day, and then they grew up, and then they were like doing things kind of like adjacent to each other in the music business, and then now they're like reconnecting again, and the main character was honestly just insufferable, so I didn't really enjoy it. There's honestly nothing that I want to get rid of down here on these bottom 6 shelves because these are full of all of my favorite books, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave these how they are. And that of course leaves us with these last 3 shelves right here. I'm not gonna touch this shelf because this is Luke's shelf, and I believe at this moment in time he wants to keep all of those up there. Also not gonna touch this shelf. These are the books that got me into reading, and do I agree with their author? Absolutely not. But these were also some of the books that got me into reading and some of the first books that I bought like with my own money. And then lastly, we have this shelf right here. Definitely getting rid of The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I know this might be a hot take. I just didn't really like this at all. I thought that the bully romance of it all wasn't really for me, and I feel like a lot of the other things going along with the story made it kind of slow and a little bit boring, and I just didn't really care about this world, so I'm gonna get rid of this. I did read the entirety of the Caraval trilogy. I only ended up buying the first one though, and I think I listened to the other 2 on audiobook. This first one was fun, but I didn't really like the rest of the series, and I just don't see myself rereading it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. The rest of the books on here are first books in different series that I'm not sure if I'm going to continue, or just generally books that weren't below because they were my absolute favorite or they just didn't fit below at this moment in time. But my main point of contention is the Fourth Wing Empyrean series right here. I feel like I've talked about this series and my thoughts on it quite a few times on my channel, but I loved Fourth Wing. It was a 5-star read for me. It was a great introduction into fantasy, and I read it during that time where I was getting introduced into a lot of different fantasy series, so I loved it. Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, not so much, and I think at this time in my reading journey, I have officially decided not to continue this series, but I also don't want to get rid of them because what if I do decide to continue it someday in the future, even if it's far from now? I don't know. I feel like I should just get rid of them. This is literally me every time I go through my closet. I look at something that maybe I've never worn or I've only worn once, or maybe it's something that I wore when I was in like high school that I'll probably never wear again. I'll be like, oh, but like the memories. Like, what if I want to wear it again? What if the perfect situation comes up where I can wear it? And it's just like, girl, like, just get rid of it. And I feel like that's this moment right now, but like, am I actually gonna get rid of it? I don't know. I really don't. Thinking about this is stressing me out, and I think for this moment in time, I'm just gonna leave them be. Those are all the books that I'm gonna end up unhauling this time around. I ended up counting them, and I'm getting rid of 17 books, which feels really good, especially because they just genuinely weren't for me. And it's also just nice too because I'm making more space on my bookshelves and my TBR cart for books that I might enjoy more, and they hopefully are gonna go to homes that will appreciate them a little bit more. It's a little bit later and the sun is going down, so that is why we're dealing with the overhead lighting, and I did change my sweatshirt because it has an open back, and it was kind of making me a little bit chilly since it's chilly in our apartment. So if you're wondering, that is why I'm wearing something different. You probably weren't wondering. But anyways, I am posted up on the couch with the overhead lighting and with my nice, what would you call this coffee table? Can't remember what it's called, but it's one of those ones that like folds up to you, and this is where we eat dinner every night. And sometimes I do my reading journal here. Sometimes I do it on my desk too, but it's a little bit annoying to do it on my desk because that's where I like to work, and I don't want to move all of that stuff right now because I'm kind of like in a flow over there doing that stuff. So we're gonna be doing it here, and I can also sit on the couch, which is more comfortable. I have not updated this bad boy in a while. The last time I uploaded my like more ongoing tracker type spreads was for the month of July, so we need to update them for August. And I am also very behind on my monthly spreads. I have only gotten to the month of March, so we're gonna try and do 3 months in this video. I don't think I'm gonna finish them all tonight, but I want to at least do one tonight, and then we'll finish the rest up tomorrow. But for now, let's go ahead and update all of my tracker spreads. The first spread we had to do is my monthly tracker page, and it looks like in the month of August I read 9 books, which is actually the highest amount of books that I've read so far this year. So that is a slay. I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in. And then over here on the right, we have my genre tracker spread. So I have all the different genres on this side, and then each month whenever I filled this out, it's like I took all of these boxes from my full count and kind of separated them into the genre. So that's what I'm gonna do for August as well. In the month of August, I read 2 romances, 2 historical fictions, 1 mystery, 1 memoir, 1 sci-fi, 1 fantasy, and 1 literary fiction, which is honestly quite the array of genres, and probably the month where I've read the most different genres. Moving on to the next page, which is my physical TBR. And I actually only have 2 new books to add, which is A Liar's Twisted Tongue, which I got gifted by the author, and then Bloodmarked, which I just bought. Now I'm gonna go through and cross off the ones that I've read off of my physical TBR, but I'm also gonna go and cross out all the books that I ended up unhauling, but I'll probably do it different than I cross out the other ones, so I'll know which ones I read and which ones I unhauled. This next page is my reading goal page where I fill in how many books I've read so far this year. My reading goal is 100, as you can see, and I'm gonna fill it up to 62 because that's where I'm at with my reading goal, and I'm currently 9 books behind, so I'm really hoping I can make it to 100 by the end of the year. I feel like the fall and winter is whenever I read the most anyways, so I kind of feel like I can do it. I think I color matched the wrong color, but this page kind of is a little bit frustrating for me anyways because the pen that I use to write the numbers and draw the squares always smears no matter what I do. You'll see that as we go. So that's definitely something I want to change and upgrade next year. But anyways, on to the next page. We have the 25 books I want to read in 2025. Honestly, this page is not doing so hot, not doing as good as I was hoping to do this year on it. I'm obsessed with this page and how it turned out, but this is also, unfortunately, one of those pages that I use that black marker on, so things do smear. As for updates on this page, I can fill in 2, which is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Sounds Like Love. Now, welcome to my reading bucket list page, another page that does smear a little bit because of the marker I used. Every time I do my reading journal, I just choose a few random ones and fill them out. So I filled out Pink Cover for Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, a fall read, which is a book off of my fall TBR, and you guys will see me read and finish that book in a reading vlog coming soon. A nonfiction book, which is actually I Was Feeling Epic that I was talking about earlier in this video, which I also finished in that same video that's coming out soon. I finished the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson, and then I also read the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy, The Gilded Cage. And then the last tracker page that we can update before we get to my monthly spreads is my series tracker page, and I've actually finished 2 series since I filled this page out, which is the Skyward series and the Prison Healer trilogy, and then I also read the 4th Naturals book. And now it is officially time to work on my monthly spreads. I'm gonna go ahead and do April tonight, and then tomorrow we can continue the rest. Last night I ended up finishing my April monthly page and I am actually obsessed with how it turned out. I feel like my monthly pages have been something that I've really been putting off this year because I am a huge perfectionist and I want the monthly pages to kind of be like cohesive but also like their own thing. And I feel like finally after doing the January, the February, and the March spreads, I know exactly what I want each page to look like and what stats and other things that I want to have on them. So this is what the April page turned out like. Every time I do a monthly spread, I pick out a color scheme, and April to me has always been purple. So I ended up doing a purple color scheme, and I feel like without a doubt my favorite thing about my monthly pages, at least how I portray the stats, is definitely my pie chart for my genre breakdown. It is actually so easy to do. I just trace a circle sticker that I've had forever and then color it in, but it just looks so much cooler visually than just writing out how many different genres that I've read throughout the month. For the past few spreads, I've been doing like my top 3 books of the month, but for the month of April, I really only had one book that I enjoyed. I think that was like a 4-star over, which was Killer Instincts by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the second book in the Natural series. So this one is printed out a little bit bigger than these ones down here since it's the only one on this page, but I really like how it turned out with just one book on the page. And regarding my entire reading journal at this point, flipping through it, even though I am a perfectionist, it is not perfect by any means. Like the genre tracker page is not really my favorite how I designed it, but I feel like as I kept doing my tracker pages this year, I kind of developed a new flow with that too. And I feel like next year, since it's gonna be my 3rd year doing my reading journal, I'm really gonna know exactly what I want to do on each page and how many pages I want to do. And I'm also gonna buy some more supplies and stuff like that because this is something that I just enjoy doing so much. If you have not ever done a reading journal, I highly recommend it. Maybe not for the rest of this year because it might be a little bit hard to catch up tracking wise, but definitely think about starting one next year because it is just such a fun hobby to add to your hobby of reading, and I have just enjoyed it so much. With all that being said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and continue with my monthly spreads. I'm gonna do my May one, and then while we're here, I think I'll go ahead and do my June one too, just because I'm feeling like really inspired and I'm just like really in the mood to do my reading journal right now. So let's go ahead and get started on those. I just finished up my May and June pages and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I decided to do a little bit of something different. I don't know if I'll do it again, but I do like how I did it with like the little squiggles on the side and then it also kind of being like a frame for the page, because even though I absolutely love this April page so much, I think it's my favorite page that I've done all year, I feel like there's like just a little bit of awkward spacing. So I wanted to try and do a framing thing on this one just because I want to see if I can get rid of the awkward spacing, and it's almost like too tight in a way in my opinion, but it ended up working out just fine. I think the only thing that bothers me specifically on the June page is my sun. Looks a little wonky, and then also the way I colored in this part, just because I've never colored in a spot like that before and I've been like shading it in a specific way, so it just looks a little weird and different. But besides that, I like everything else. I feel like I also kind of outlined these things a little bit weirdly just because I didn't have enough room, but I will now know to look out for those things in the future. But other than that, I think I am going to be done with my reading journal for today, and I think that means I'm going to be done chatting with you guys for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you watched until this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below your favorite heart emoji so I know who the real ones are who watch until the very end. If you want to keep up with me on the daily, go ahead and follow my socials, my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Goodreads. I'm trying my best to be pretty active on all of those, and those are always going to be linked down below in every single video. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. I love you guys so much. Hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Oh, slay. Wow, this has been filming for 30 minutes. Amazing. Was not in the room at all. That was actually so embarrassing. the living room light, it just, I want to see what the lighting looks like. Oh. Okay, turn it back on. Thanks, that's all.
This program is presented by.
Gosh, the commercials are so loud. Peace.